Hi readers, this is the book I finished reading. It's called The Wolf R. The first thing that is wrong with this book is that it is huge. It's not the regular um, paperback size. This one is almost an A5 size. So it's kind of difficult to read in bed because it's so huge. And I've got receipts coming out of the book. And then the second thing about the book that is very wrong is the fact that you know how stories have a beginning and an end, and they have you know this is the main character, this is the supporting character, you know where the story is starting from and where it's heading, and then there's a moral of the story. All of that was missing this. So I read the entire book, but I'm not really sure who the main character is because there is a whole family, and that family is supposed to be the main um, family. But there is a lot of talk about other characters, and those characters become really important characters in the story. So you're wondering if the family that you're reading about is the main, or this character that you're reading about now is the main. Um, it's just all over the place. You're not able to pick out a favorite character. Every character is very flawed. The person who's most talked about in this story is the daughter of the family who is traveling to Africa. And against everyone's advice, she decides to still go on a peace talk with the center that she was staying with. And these peace talks are with militants. It's amazing how, when everyone is saying it's dangerous, she still wants to go. I think women are just, they're born with a sixth sense where they pick on things like these, and they sense danger much easily than normal, like generally men. And yet she goes against everyone's advice and still goes ahead and decides to go on this expedition with the other team. So I think there's something wrong with this girl as well. She's just not right in her mind, because why would someone do something where even her sixth sense is telling her not to do it and she's still wanting to go ahead and do it? And then when she has a whole incident there, she's kidnapped, she's raped, and then she comes back, she's still insistent on staying there, which is like, it's just not normal psychology. I mean, if I am traumatized in an area, I would definitely want to go back there. I would not want to stay there. And she chooses to stay there with the same people, with the same danger. And it's kind of weird how this girl's operating. So this is one part of the story where you're trying to figure out why she's doing something that is so not normal. And then on the other hand, there is her brother who's also behaving in not a normal way. And um, it's weird. I mean, there's this one scene where her brother comes to rescue. Again, there's no talk of how he actually makes it there. He just starts off somewhere, and then in a few chapters down, he's just walking into the his sister's tent. So that story of how he got there would have been nice to read as well. And then for a sister who's been kidnapped, who's just murdered someone, who's gone through a trauma of being separated from a group, and then trying to adjust with tribal people. um, when she sees her brother, she shows no reaction. I mean, if I would have gone through a similar situation where I would have been kidnapped, or would have been away from my family, or generally away from my people, and I wouldn't be sure of what the future is for me, if they're going to kill me, if they're going to keep me alive, or whatever. And I see someone after a very long time who I recognize and who is close to me, who is a relative, my first reaction would be, to run to the person and probably hug the person, for moral support. And that thing was missing. So there were a lot of things that are wrong with this book. I could not relate to the book. It took me a while to finish reading it. I was not very happy with it. I generally did not like the story. It didn't settle anywhere where I'd say, oh, this seems like more realistic. This seems like, even the parents in the book, they're weird. Um, Regardless of how opposed you are to what your children are doing, you would still not go about to destroy them. I mean, what are you, Superman? I don't think Superman would destroy his own children. So everything is very wrong with the book. I did not enjoy it. I'm not going to recommend it to anyone. I've been ranting about it for 6 minutes now. So to save yourself from reading crappy books like these, subscribe to the channel so that I can come back to you and tell you which books to read and which not, and why some books are nice and some books are not. So subscribe to the channel. I'm going to see you next week with another book, and I will tell you about it. Until then, you guys stick around. Bye bye.